Of course, first edition, live, just rolling. You know, we in motion officially.
Right.
Of course, we got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things going on. First of all, congratulations to completing one of your first major projects, The Cliff. You know, The Cliff, the movie, The Cliff, the mindset, The Cliff, the book. That's a big deal, man.
We started a while back, man, just starting this process. You know, we decided to turn, you know, what was real experiences. We decided to go ahead and turn them into film, man. And that after finishing the film, you know, and doing the business on it, I decided to, you know, write the book, The Cliff Mindset, you know, just to do what I always do. I like to encourage people, man. I like people to believe in themselves, you know, and like to lift people up, man. So that's what this whole thing is really all about, you know.
For sure. And that's really what it is. So for those who don't know, you know, Dennis has actually been active for a long time, doing a whole lot of stuff for a whole lot of people, man. And I think this is kind of one of his personal endeavors where he said, you know what, let's go ahead and do something, you know. And of course, The Cliff, the movie, is from a personal set of experiences. Tell me about the police, man. So you the police, man. What's going on?
Come on, man. Come on. Don't do it like that. But no, seriously, yeah. You know, on a regular 9 to 5, I do clock in. I do hit the streets of Dallas, man. I do try to, you know, do a good job. I have seen the ups and the downs, you know, as a police officer. To be completely honest, you see the best of people and you see the absolute worst of people, you know, and being where we are right now in the country, you know, and what's going on with the way people feel about the police, you know, and the police brutality, the things that we've seen in the Black community, you know, it makes the job even, you know, that much harder, but it also makes it that much more necessary for people like myself who come from a certain background to at least be there, you know, to keep an eye on, to police the police. You know, I think that it's time for, you know, more people who really want to see the right things happen in the community. It's time for those people to stand up and say something as well, you know?
Yeah, for sure. And you're right. And it has been pretty, I don't even know the best term to use it, but I know in St. Louis, it's been volatile.
No, absolutely. You know, and that kind of stuff has been going on. It was going on when I was a kid. It's going on now. And the truth is, what needs to be addressed, not only the issues that the Black community is having, we know the issues that the Black community is having, and those things need to be dealt with from the Black community. However, the policing practice also needs to be addressed. You know, it needs to be addressed the way that the police do the job. Because, for example, if you're on the north side of town, the way that those police deal with the community is different than how the police deal with the community on the south side of town where I patrol. For example, if you're walking in the street, you know, that's a problem. We're taught to, it's called pedestrian in the roadway. And then what happens is they say, well, the drugs in the Black community is really, you know, is running rampant. The truth is the drugs in the white community is the same thing. It's just that they don't encounter the police as often. And they don't encounter the police because the police don't look for them. So I'm not going to sit here and say that every officer is racist. I'm not going to say that. But I will say that the training is flawed. And there's not much cultural diversity you can do to people who, you know, who fear you, who look at you a certain way already before even being trained. It's ingrained in culture. It's ingrained in laws. It's ingrained in media, you know. And if those people are being trained now to police you, it's not much training you can really do, because at the end of the day, of course, guns are going to get drawn. Of course, they're going to pull triggers because they're scared, you know. And that's what they're going to say. They're going to say, I'm in fear of my life. And let me go ahead and deal with this right now. Somebody's going to look at this. You know, a police officer is going to look at this and say, listen, this guy is tripping. I'm just addressing the problems. See, because the problem is, like, in the police department, no one addresses the problems. No one addresses it. It literally goes swept under the rug. And so, like, here we are in 2015 dealing with real racism. And I promise you, we've never heard anything from our department to date about how to deal with it. Police officers don't even know how to deal with it. You see what I'm saying? So don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me for addressing the problem from this perspective, because you haven't even trained any officers on how to deal with it. You try to teach cultural diversity, but you're not even capable of teaching it. Because how can I teach you about a culture that I know nothing about? I can't. It's impossible. You need people like me to teach cultural diversity. I'm going to tell you, just because I'm talking loud doesn't mean I'm aggressive. To you, I'm aggressive, but we just talk loud. Just because we hanging out outside doesn't mean that we up to no good. It just means we like being outside. You see what I'm saying? And so these things, you need somebody else to teach cultural diversity. You don't need somebody who's already scared of you or already has preconceived ideas of you trying to teach the police how to police the community. That right there, I mean, and what I'm saying right now, just so we're clear, what I'm saying right now is that's what's flawed in the system. You see what I'm saying? That's what's flawed right there. You have the wrong people trying to train the police to deal with a community that they know nothing about.
All I'm going to say is that there are some changes. You know what I mean?
You know, and that's what we're fighting right now. We're fighting the fact that there needs to be change, bro. There needs to be change, and I'm hoping that me as a police officer talking like this, you know, causes a controversial dialogue.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Yep, and that's definitely some points, man. So, I mean, as far as action though, so you think, and I'm just really thinking outside the box. So, do you think we need to? I don't know, man. What do you think?
First step for us is for us to have knowledge of self, so we can have that pride in ourselves. And then the minister had asked for 10,000 strong men and women who will go into the communities and police it for the police. Like, in other words, stop calling on the police to handle our problems. We should handle them ourselves. You know, and that's for the brave. That's not for the weak. That's not for the weak people, because you got to be willing to stand up to terrorists. You know, people who are causing terror in your neighborhood, which could be the local drug dealer, which could be the local pimp or whatever. We got to set them straight, deal with them accordingly, and let them know that they're not going to tear down our kids. They're not going to tear down our mothers. They're not going to tear down our neighborhood. They got to straighten up or get dealt with in our community. See, once that happens, once we start policing ourselves, we stop calling for the police, you know, to deal with all of our problems. Stop asking, you know, them to fix us. We need to fix us from within. So that's first. That's the very first thing, bro. Is first, knowledge of self. Second, we need to unify.
Dennis Dotson for sharing all the knowledge, sharing all the game, man. Stay tuned next time, same place, same thing. We're gonna do this thing one more time, one more again. Love you. See you when I see you.
All right, man. Cool. Peace.